Thank you. No, really, please, for the love of God, be quiet and listen to the Seventh Heaven podcast. I'm your host, Evan Myers. You can follow me on Twitter at Seventh Heaven. You can follow me on Instagram, Seventh Heaven Pod. You can listen on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Podbean, Google Play, Rumble, and I'm still trying to figure out Odyssey because I'm a boomer. It's good to be back. It's great to be back. I was out of town for most of last week, got in last night on a late flight, went to my alma mater, the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss. Watched us lay the beat down on Liberty University. Not a true beat down, but we won. We won by I think 2 or 3 scores. And it's always good to go back to your alma mater. I had not been back since I graduated 5 years ago. Life had not led me back, but this time it had. And there I am. There I was, I should say. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. And I'm not a guy who has a lot of fun, Fun is not for me. But in this case, I had fun. It's good to be back. I do not like flying anymore. And here's the thing. I like the act of flying. I like being in the air. I like, having the suitcase and jumping into your seat and all that. I like all that, but everything around it sucks. Going through TSA. I got stopped at TSA. I don't know what it is, but I think the motherfuckers at Dallas-Fort Worth do not like me. I don't know if I'm on a list. I don't know if they know that I'm from California originally and they're just trying to fuck with me. I don't know. But the last 2 times I've gone through that airport, I have been stopped. A first time was a few years back, and they did the what they'll do is they'll pull you aside for additional screening, and they'll rub this, it looks like a Band-Aid. It's sort of this weird material that they wipe on your hands, and then they put it into a machine, and it detects explosive material. So the last time I went through there, they wiped my hand, they put it in the machine, and it said explosive material detected. I'm not a terrorist, I've never been a terrorist. I've always, when I get into a plane, my hope is that not only do I land safely, but I arrive early. I want to land at my destination. I don't feel like hijacking an airplane and flying it into a tower. That's not when I fly, that's not my intention. In fact, I've never even thought about hijacking an airplane because it seems like a lot of work, and I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me. But for some reason at Dallas-Fort Worth, they thought I was a terrorist, so they wipe your hand down, they put it in the machine, and the last time I went through, it said explosive material detected, which is, interesting, considering I didn't have any explosive material and I'm not a terrorist. And so they take me out to the back room, and they put your hand down your pants, and it's all Harvey Weinstein-y and all that. And oh, well, you're good. Have a good day. Which I love it because they pull you out of the line in front of everybody, and they're all staring at you as you go into the back room. And then they just release you. So everyone's like, is this guy a terrorist? Is this person going to take my plane down? So it's always fun. It's a great time. But yeah, last time I went through, they basically molested me and felt me up and then headed me on my way. This time they pulled me aside. They did the hand wipe. I did not have explosive material on my hands this time, so I don't know. Maybe I changed soap. I'm not sure. But they did have the guy who's doing the scans the bags and goes, this bag needs to be searched. So they search my bag and they find my dreaded toothpaste. This is the dreaded toothpaste that we've all heard so much about. And I use the Arm and Hammer because I once heard a smart man say your toothpaste should taste like shit, and this toothpaste tastes like shit, so that's the way it is. And they said, well, it's too much, so sorry, and so they threw it away. This is, this. I think this nicely dovetails into the masking discussion and into the mandates and all that. Here's the thing. 20 years ago, what are they? Saudi Arabians, I guess that would be the term. A terrorist hijacked 4 airplanes, crashed 2 of them into the Twin Towers, crashed one of them into the Pentagon, and the other one crashed into an open field in Pennsylvania. They did it with box cutters. They did not do it with toothpaste. In fact, they didn't even do it with explosive material. So when everybody's kind of like doubling down and tripling down on like, we need a vaccine mandate, we need a mask mandate, it's like, do you not fly? Do you not see, like, I had to throw away my toothpaste. The TSA agent knew it was just toothpaste. I knew it was just toothpaste. For some reason, toothpaste is a threat to the security of the United States. I don't understand that. You have to take your shoes off when you go through security. Not in Japan and Korea, interestingly enough, and I imagine other countries, but in the U.S., you got to take your shoes off. We have not had a real Islamic terrorist attack since 9/11. We've had little things here and there. We've had whatevers, shootings, guys taking U-Haul buses into a crowd, whatever. We've had stuff, but we haven't had that. And yet still, we aren't even in Afghanistan anymore. And still, we are doing this song and dance that I know, that he knows, we all know this shit is not a threat. But they have to do that. And I'm not going to fight him because it's a fucking $3 tube of toothpaste. I can go replace that. But it's just odd. I find it odd. And I find it odd that people don't see where these things go. Like, when you give the government 1 inch, they take a mile. When you give corporations 1 inch, they take a mile. There is no end in sight. it'll be another 20 years before you take your mask off on an airplane, or until a Republican becomes president again. It's objectively insane that we are doing these things, and we think that it's just like, oh, it's because of a health crisis. Yeah, okay. Well, the Patriot Act is because of an Islamic crisis. We haven't had a lot of Islamic terrorism in this country since 9/11, but there's a crisis of Islam. I mean, can you imagine that? We had a discussion when I was in Oxford with a black professor, and he kept saying how, well, this is different because this is a health crisis. It's different. So it's fine if they restrict your freedom because it's a health crisis. And it's like, well, okay, it's fine to have Jim Crow because slavery was a labor crisis. I mean, they do these word games where this like, oh, well, I've labeled it this, so that excuses all the injustice, all the behavior. Like, if you're talking to somebody who is a big Black Lives Matter person, and all I'm saying is, hey, man, cops have a tough job. Cops have a tough job. They're like, well, okay, what about this, this, and this, and this? I'm like, man, it's a hard job. What are you going to do? It's just a hard job. It's like, well, even if that's true, you're not actually addressing what it is. So, yeah, I had to throw away my toothpaste, and I'm not happy about it. But the good news is it's not like we have a supply chain crisis with a shortage of goods or anything. So I'm sure that was worthwhile. And it's good. The United States is safer knowing that my teeth were not to be brushed that night. It's interesting. So I went back to school there, went back to my alma mater, and we had down in Ole Miss, they have the square. They have all these bars and they have all these nightclubs and blah, blah, blah. And I find that to be, I don't know, it's boring to me generally. It's loud. It's just everyone's drunk, And there's only so much of that I have interest in. And it's funny, a lot of the bars all had covers, which is not, unusual for game weekends, but one of them, it was a $40 cover. A $40 cover. And I just, I didn't pay that. I just think it's funny. It's like you already are overcharging for shitty, watered down drinks, and now you throw a cover on. And of course, these little kids are all fucking paying it with their fake IDs. What are you going to do? But great. It's a great city. Great food. I ate a lot. I ate too much, and I regret none of it. Had to go back to the gym today because I was, naughty. And so that's what I like when I go there. I love to eat. I love to eat the food, the Southern cooking. Some of the finest restaurants in the South are in Oxford, Mississippi. And, it's hard to fit everything into a few days. So I'm going to have to go back in the spring when it's a little more mellow and they don't have $40 covers. And do some day drinking, That's what it's good for. Anywho, I do think it's funny when bars charge covers. I don't know why. Like, it's just so... it's... Nothing inside is ever worth it. I get if you have a band playing and it's for the show, I'll pay an artist. I have no problem giving money to an artist. I do have a problem giving money to a bar without getting, like, you should get drink tickets with a cover. you know? Like you should get something like a t-shirt. Like if I drop $40 to go into your bar, I should leave with a t-shirt or a growler or something. Like there should be a prize. But what do I know? Aaron Rodgers is in the news. I think this is a fascinating story. So Aaron Rodgers is not vaccinated. He's described himself as immunized. And of course, because sports journalists are the dumbest fucking people in the world, no one in the room decided to ask him a follow-up question about that. They just were like, oh, he's immunized, so that means vaccinated. It's so funny. And now they're all offended. It's funny, the sports journalists are the worst because they're the dumbest and they think they're like the most entitled to information. And, you know, listen, it's not my fault that your job is writing stats for games. That's your job. So you can't be mad at me over that. But they did this like with Urban Meyer. If you recall, when he was the head coach of the Ohio State football team, you know, he basically lied to the media about some story. And like he was like, oh, I don't know anything about that, and he knew about it. And they weren't mad about anything except that he lied in a press conference. I think that's so. I don't know why they like when guys get caught in a quote unquote lie, they get so mad. Like nobody else, like in politics, they all know the people are lying. You know, like they go, oh yeah, he's the president, he's lying. How do you know? Well, he's talking. And coaches lie even more than politicians. They lie all the time. So I don't know why they get so offended by athletes and coaches lying. But Aaron Rodgers was, you know, he's sort of a golden boy in the NFL. People love him. He's a quarterback for Green Bay Packers, probably the most popular team in America. And a lot of casual fans are Packer fans, you know. And by the way, it's a great franchise. I actually would love to go to Lambeau in Green Bay one day, and because I hear it's just a great town and there's just a, you know, awesome football town. And if you love football, it's just, you know, it's sort of a mecca for football. So I do respect the Packers on that level. And Brett Favre is probably my favorite player of all time, certainly one of them. Always loved his style. Always loved how much he loved the game. But, you know, Aaron Rodgers is a guy that the media has more or less treated with kid gloves. They were very clearly on his side over Brett Favre during their drama back, you know, 15 years ago or however long that was. And, you know, they've always sort of made him out to be like he's the greatest of all time. And, you know, there's an argument to be made there. So I've always thought that he got it kind of easy. And during the offseason, there was this whole thing of, oh, we don't know if Aaron's going to come back. And he's not happy with how things are going on in Green Bay. And he's not. And I was like, really? Like, oh, they always do this. They've never drafted him a wide receiver in the first round. Okay. Like, I don't know that's a odd stat, but sure. And it's like they've made him out to be this, you know, like he's the greatest, he's the funniest, he's this, he's that. They always try to sell you on these guys. And I've never really bought it. I've never cared for Aaron Rodgers so much as a person. And it's not like a intense dislike, but I saw the way they treated him. And whenever guys get treated with kid gloves by the media and they're just like trying to tell you how awesome someone is, I'm always kind of, you know, okay, sure. Like, let's chill. Let's take a step back. And Aaron, you know, there was all these rumors that he wasn't going to come back. And then they were talking about trading him. Oh, he might go to the Broncos. Oh, he might go to the 49ers. Oh, he might go to the Saints. You know, all these rumors of him being moved. And then he showed up for training camp, you know, with long hair, and he was ready to go. And you know, recently, you know, he tested positive for COVID and he was not vaccinated. Now, of course, there are lots of players who have been vaccinated and are also still getting COVID. So it's strange that one case is fine and the other case is not, especially when absolutely no professional athletes have died of COVID at all. So, at least in the United States. So, Aaron Rodgers, he had told the media that he was immunized, and they just bought it. They're like, okay, great. And they didn't ask no follow-up question. No follow-up, not, because that's an odd phrase, right? That everyone's either going, oh, I got the double jab, or oh, I got my vax, or I'm vaccinated, or whatever, or they announce it, and he said, I'm immunized, which is not how I've heard anybody describe being vaccinated, but they just went along with it and didn't ask any questions, and then they're mad because he wasn't forthright about it. Aaron Rodgers is his own man. I think that's pretty well documented. He's his own guy. He's not big on playing along if he doesn't want to do something. So Rodgers, laid out his case. I guess he's allergic to a few ingredients in the vaccine. And then I guess it was the J&J shot where people were getting blood clots. So he's like, well, I'm not going to do that. And then he looked into other methods. And so he was taking ivermectin. He's taking all the other stuff. Said he talked to Joe Rogan. And now the media is in full-throated anger at him. And that's the thing. They spent the whole summer explaining why, no, he should be traded if he wants. Like, he's a professional athlete. He's free and able to do what he wants, and he's the best, and we never have to question him and all that. They carried water for him. And when it comes to his body autonomy, I was going to say bodily fluids. That's not right. When it comes to his body's autonomy, they have a problem with it. They have a problem with him saying, I'm not going to do that. So he had to miss a game. And oh my God, I saw Bill Simmons, king of the hot takes, going on about, oh, he's a narcissist. This is so all about me, Aaron. Shut the fuck up, Bill. Get out of here with that. Like, you guys are, it's funny how all these guys, they talk tough for a living. And God help me if I'm doing this in 30 years and I'm one of these guys, just fucking put a bullet in my head. Like, it's over. Where they're just like, they talk all this shit on a microphone for a living, and then they're just like, oh, they turn into these like fucking henny, like these middle-aged shrews who are just fucking bitter at the world, and they're just like I guess like Howard Stern. Like, what the hell happened to Howard Stern? This is a guy who would have a show where he would bring like porn stars in, and he'd have them like take their clothes off and make out on a radio show, like like, oh yeah, you can listen. I could literally start kissing like my hand here, and I could tell you that it's two lesbians, and you guys would, you'd have to believe me. You probably wouldn't believe me, but you would have to. That's what Howard Stern would do. He'd do crazy shit. He was a shock jock, and now he's just like a full-blown Karen. And I hate that term because my mom's name is Karen, but it's true. Like, he's become one of these shrews who's mad that people don't get the shot. And it's like, how about you fucking chill, dude? It's his choice. It's my choice. It's our choice. And if you're vaccinated, I don't know why you're stressed about other people's vaccination status. That I do not understand. But maybe someone smarter can explain that to me. But I have not heard a sufficient explanation in my mind. But Aaron was sort of the golden boy, and now he's got all these shrews in the media coming after him, and I think it's funny. I really do. The only thing I really have to criticize Aaron over this for is that he kind of left guys like Cole Beasley out to dry. Cole Beasley took a lot of shit because he went out right away and said, I'm not doing this. Here's my reasons why. And the only reason I'm able to do this is because I'm old enough and rich enough that if I can't play anymore, it's fine. I can just retire. And I'm going to make a statement on behalf of the players who can't speak out. Well, if anyone can do that, it's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron has made a lot of money. He's, older. He could certainly walk away from the game. He'd still be in the Hall of Fame. And he didn't. And I don't blame him because everybody, this is what happens, right? It's controversy. But, I kind of wish that when, people were trying to get vaccine mandates going around and all that, it would have been nice to have some big people, taking a stand. It feels like that we could do that. I don't know why we're not. We have a world where Colin Kaepernick can take a knee and he celebrated. I don't know why it is that Cole Beasley can't speak up and we can't treat him the same. And I don't know why Aaron Rodgers can't see Cole Beasley taking all that shit and go, you know what, fuck it. Guess what, guys? I'm not vaccinated either. Fucking deal with it. So, yeah. But I mean, the truth is out. That's how it goes, right? And they're all mad about him, like he's risking the lives of his teammates. Mind you, there's 0 NFL athletes that have died. There's none of that. This is a disease that kills old people and sick people, and that is tragic. But it is not applicable to people who are not old and sick or constantly around old and sick people. So this is the problem with things like mandates, is that you are trying to prescribe a one-size-fits-all solution to a multifaceted problem. This is like saying, you know what? Not only are we going to, it's not just that we get the drug dealers, let's get the guys in possession of a drug. When the guy in the possession of the drug needs treatment and the guy who's dealing needs jail, assuming you believe that they should go to jail. One-size-fit-all solutions are never good. There's always casualties, and this is why we have to push back. It's why here's the thing. I consider myself, I have 0 opinions on vaccines in general. I've never been it's like, I don't care. I have a lot of opinions on a lot of things. I've never had any opinions on vaccines. I don't know about any of it. I don't care. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if they cause autism. I don't know if they are, whatever. I don't know any of that. I don't care. I always figured that the only time I'd have to think about it is if I had kids. And if I ever had kids, it'd probably be something that myself and my wife would talk about. And if she felt strongly about it, then I'd probably follow her on that. But again, like if you go, oh, well, I don't think there should be a vaccine mandate. Okay, well, you're anti-vax. No, I'm not. So this is where the dishonesty comes through. This is where it's pretty obvious to me that we have jumped the shark. Our society is spiraling, and it's all going to shit. So Aaron is, he's taken a lot of shit this last week and a half. Mike Florio's on a fucking bender about him. And I think it's funny because these guys, these are guys that celebrated Kaepernick. Kaepernick was lying about the country. Like, you understand, he was lying. What he is the ideas that he has promoted, this notion that America is a white supremacist nation, is fundamentally a lie. It is a lie. And it is provable that it is a lie. And we don't know the long-term side effects of the vaccine. We don't know how everyone is going to react to it. People have died after taking it. But we don't know. We just don't know. So these people who are just just shut up and get it. Fuck off. This is not your decision. And your attitude is, well, everyone just needs to do whatever I think. Well, okay, fine. Everyone should do what I think. Do we want to play that game? I don't think people want to play the game. Because here's the thing. I tell people what they should do all the time and they ignore me. So I already know they don't want that. So what? Like, nobody wants it. So when there's confusion, let freedom be the answer. That's my point. The answer should always be freedom and choice. The answer should always be the option to do what you want. That is what we aim towards. Now, for some reason, there's a lot of people in this country who either completely forgot that or just don't care about it anymore. And them, I can say, can fuck off because I'm done with them. If your thought is, oh, freedom is, security is more important than freedom, that's a lie. These are fundamental lies because you will not get security. Do you feel safer? Like, do you really feel safer? I don't feel safer. I watched last summer, 2 summers ago now, the entire country, all the cities in the United States being burned because of a fucking fentanyl head overdosing. And somehow, this is all enigmatic of racism. And yeah, you can now burn down neighborhoods because of an injustice. What? And that they were fine with it, and the cops stood by and did nothing. I don't feel safer. That's why I don't support the police. That's why I'm done with them, because they've proven that they don't care either. So this is where we're at. You cannot have a system in which violence is acceptable on one hand and then unacceptable for another. This is when you start getting into Banana Republic shit. You cannot have a system where Colin Kaepernick is a hero who is lying about the country. And that's the thing. If you think Aaron Rodgers is lying about science, like, what's worse? Oh, well, Aaron Rodgers is, he could kill people. Really? How about telling black kids that growing up in this country, you will always have a target on your back? That no matter what you do, you will always be treated less than. That the whole system is against you. What do you think does a longer term damage to people? Like, do you really, like, just really think about that. You tell a generation upon generation upon generation of black Americans that this country hates them, despises them, wants to experiment on them, wants them back in chains. They want to put y'all back in chains. These are lies that kill people. These are lies that derail people's futures. And worst case scenario, Aaron Rodgers is misinformed. Worst case scenario. I would argue he's more informed than any of the journalists going after him right now. Because here's the thing about journalists. Journalists will just go, oh, well, NBC said it, so it's true. Because we're colleagues. We're colleagues. And it's like, no. And maybe you are, but you're all professional liars at this point. We know this. So good for Aaron. I do wish that he had made this a statement earlier. I wish that he didn't leave Cole Beasley out to dry, but better late than never. And Godspeed. I hope he has a great year, and I hope we whack him in the playoffs. Go Bucks. But he's the thing is, he's undeniably one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. Even though he doesn't have, he only has one ring, but it's a team sport. So, I mean, there's great quarterbacks that never won a ring. So it's not, for me, it's more than just that. But he is undoubtedly one of the greats. And they needed this. Kyrie is sitting out the season right now. Good for him. And I wish Rodgers had been more like that. But, to each their own. Everybody's got to do their own thing. Everyone's got to take their own risk. Again, that's the freedom, right? Everyone has to make their own evaluation. Maybe he thought, well, I'll just get through the season and we'll just move along. And, he caught COVID. Shocking. He's probably totally fine. This is my favorite thing. There's all the comments that are talking about, like, SNL had a joke about how, like, oh, well, one of the guys, whatever, died. And it's like, no. No one will die because of this. Like, I want to follow up. He's going to be fine. Everyone around him is going to be fine. His teammates are going to be fine. There's going to be no problems. There's going to be zero problem. There's no follow-up with this shit. They make all the proclamations about, think about all the people he's going to kill, or how his teammates are going to feel, or how he killed himself. Like, he's going to be fine. This happened with Dennis Prager. Dennis Prager, I guess, this was the headline. I didn't even read the story. I saw the headline. And the headline was like, he deliberately got it so he could build a natural immunity. And they're all like, he's going to die and he's fine. So no follow-up. No follow-up saying, hey, Dennis Prager's method worked. No follow-up saying, hey, everybody who said he was going to drop dead or he was going to kill people should write an apology letter to him. But they won't. So, yeah. Anywho, I think this is funny. Speaking of outdated shit on airplanes, I had this interesting observation. If you go on an airplane, every single row has the two lights above you. They have the seatbelt light, which I love the thought that, like, if I'm in an airplane crash, the seatbelt is going to save me. That's like, if we nosedive into a hill, go full Kobe Bryant, like that. Oh, well, at least he had a seatbelt on. Like, I always think that's funny. But they have, like, the no smoking light. And I'm almost wondering, like, is this necessary? When's the last time you've been on an airplane and someone lit up a cigarette? 1973? I've never witnessed it. I've never witnessed someone smoking on an airplane. I don't know why they still have that sign. But my guess is I do think that they're going to replace it with the mask sign. Like, here, you need your mask. Take your mask off to snack and drink your ginger ale, but put your mask back on. And I love it. The pilots sound so exasperated, like, it is a federal mandate. Thank you ahead of time for complying. And it's just like, why are you again, you pussies, it's your fault. This is your fault. You guys are allowing this. You're allowing this. You don't want people to be difficult. Stop making things difficult. Just stop. You guys, fuck them. This is never going away. The disease or the mandates, the vaccine talk, the mask. There's always going to be, I honest to God think, this is like my generation's Great Depression. Like, my grandpa was putting money under his mattress until the day he died because he didn't want to put his money in a bank. And there's going to be motherfuckers wearing a mask for years after this. So, yeah. Good luck with that future. I do think it's interesting with the smoking light. We've had a no smoking light for decades, but we've never had a no terrorism light. Yeah. No. What if what would the light would probably look like? It would start out with a dude like with a beard and a turban, and then they would have to move on from that. They'd have to find something better. They'd probably put like a Proud Boy on there, or like that the Buffalo Head guy and on January 6th. They probably put him on there. I always, no terrorism. I feel like they needed a no terrorism light, really. Anywho, are you guys following the Kyle Rittenhouse case? I think it's very interesting. It's very clearly a case of self-defense. You can speculate on why a 17-year-old was out there with an AR-15 doing whatever he was doing. You can do all that kind of motivation. That's like saying, why was Trayvon wearing a hoodie? I mean, okay. Is it relevant to the case? I don't know. I don't think so. And the witnesses for the prosecution have been really fucking bad. And quite hilarious. And one of this guy Kyle Rittenhouse blew off his bicep, when the guy was trying, and the guy said under oath, like, oh yeah, like he didn't shoot me until I drew my gun and pointed it at him. And it's like, yeah, that's self-defense. And quite frankly, this guy should be charged. Like, that's how this is. The witnesses are the criminals. That's kind of the funny thing, is the witness. And Antifa was going full terrorist attack on a city in Wisconsin. They're smashing windows, breaking shit down, burning buildings down. And this guy's out there with a rifle, and they go, we got him. And I'm like, what is it with these prosecutors? They're not going after the actual terrorist. They're going after the medic with a rifle who defended himself. And it's great because the FBI had drone footage of the thing, and they said, oh, we don't have the drone. We lost the drone footage of it. And then, okay, well, we got the drone footage. Oh, but we lost the HD version. Oh, actually, here's the HD version. And it's like, oh, yeah, did they doctor that shit? Like, what? Completely the enemy of the people. Disgusting. So Kyle Rittenhouse is likely to be freed here, God willing. The prosecution just rested their case. He should be freed. This is an absolute injustice. I mean, this is the thing. The judge seems like I think it's a jury trial, so it'll come down to that. But the judge has been admonishing the prosecution pretty frequently. So that's always an enjoyment. I think that they should. I mean, this is not legal. I think that if you bring a charge, to a person and you have no case and you knowingly have no case, I think that we should just assign the sentence to you. I really do. I think if you're a prosecutor and you're overcharging guys like this when it's complete malpractice. It's completely a total injustice. It's like you should get the murder charge, and we should put you in jail for the rest of your life. Because this is objectively insane, and it's complete abuse of power. And it just goes to show you what kind of country we live in right now, that that they do this. So, yeah, that's my thought. I didn't have a lot to talk about today except flying on the plane and whatnot. I will say that I'm glad. I do feel like things are being brought to the light, and I like that. I'm optimistic. So these are good things. But otherwise, I hope you all have had a great weekend. I'm certain you guys will all send me your emails and your tweets and your sexually suggestive photographs, which please stop. Just stop sending me those disgusting photos. No one wants to see that. But here's the thing. I am tired. I'm jet lagged. I genuinely have no idea how this sentence is going to end. And on that note, you have been listening to the Seventh Heaven podcast. I'm your host, Evan Myers. You can follow me on Twitter at Seventh Heaven. You can follow me on Instagram at Seventh Heaven Pod. You can listen on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, YouTube, Rumble. Sometime in the future, it'll be on Odyssey. We'll figure that out at some point. Otherwise, you guys have a great week. I'll be back on Thursday with another episode, and let the haters hate and whatnot. Fuck them haters. Guys, fuck the haters and the losers and whatnot because of their lifestyle choices, mostly that they're haters, And I don't like haters, okay? I hate hate. I hate hate. Thank you.